There is a particular kind of tired that isn't physical. The feeling, at the end of a long day among people, of being completely alone in a crowded room. Everyone around you occupied with their own separate concerns, none of them touching yours, as if you were each sealed in your own glass. A Roman emperor felt this too, surrounded at all times by a court, an army, a family, and he found, in his private notebook, one image he returned to again and again to argue himself out of it. Not a comforting story, a claim about physics, that the separateness is an illusion, that you are not a person alone in a room full of strangers, but one part of a single thing that was never actually divided in the first place. Here is the passage, and it is worth reading slowly, because every clause is doing separate work. Constantly regard the universe as one living being, having one substance and one soul, and observe how all things have reference to one perception, the perception of this one living being, and how all things act with one movement, and how all things are the cooperating causes of all things which exist. Observe, too, the continuous spinning of the thread and the contexture of the web. One living being, not a collection of beings that happen to be near each other. One being, the way your hand and your eye are not two creatures cooperating, but one creature with two parts. The Stoics had a technical name for this claim, Sympatheia. Literally, feeling together. The idea that everything in the cosmos is connected closely enough that a change anywhere registers everywhere, the way a plucked string moves the whole instrument. Marcus doesn't use the word here directly, but the passage is describing exactly that structure. Not, we should feel connected, as a nice sentiment to adopt. He's making a claim about how things actually are. One perception, one movement, one web, and asking you to notice a truth you'd already been living inside without seeing it. So why does an emperor need to be reminded of this? He had, of everyone alive, the least reason to feel invisible. But command is its own kind of isolation. Marcus spent years on a frontier making decisions no one else could make for him, surrounded by people who wanted things from him rather than people who simply shared a day with him. The higher the seat, the thinner the web can start to feel. So this passage isn't cosmology for its own sake. It's a man at the top of a hierarchy reminding himself that hierarchy is not what's actually real. The thread underneath it is, and it runs through him the same way it runs through everyone below him. Elsewhere, he makes the same claim again, this time reaching for the plainest possible comparison. Among the animals which have not reason, one life is distributed, but among reasonable animals, one intelligent soul is distributed. Just as there is one earth of all things which are of an earthy nature, and we see by one light and breathe one air, all of us that have the faculty of vision, and all that have life. One earth under all earthy things, one light for every eye that sees, one air in every set of lungs. He isn't asking you to take this on faith. He's pointing at what's already, literally, shared. The same sun, the same atmosphere, the same underlying stuff, worn by each of us into a different shape for a while. It would be easy to hear, "We are one organism," and turn it into something soft, a slogan about niceness, or a reason to never disagree with anyone, since we're all connected anyway. That isn't what Marcus is doing with it. He wrote pages elsewhere about people who were genuinely difficult, careless, even cruel. He doesn't pretend the web makes everyone easy to love. What Sympatheia changes is not how people behave. It changes what isolation means. You can be frustrated by someone, opposed to someone, even hurt by someone, and still be looking at one knot in the same thread you're tied to. never actually as separate from them as the loneliness in the room made it feel. So here is a way to actually run this the next time the room feels sealed off. Pick one person in it, a stranger, a coworker, someone whose day you know nothing about. Say to yourself, plainly, whatever is happening in them right now, it's built from the same one thing that's happening in me. The same light reaching both of us, the same air moving through both of us. One intelligence wearing two different days. You don't have to like them. You don't even have to speak to them. You only have to notice that the wall you'd built between them and you was never load-bearing. It was decoration, and the actual structure underneath was one piece the whole time. The room is still crowded with people who don't know your day. That doesn't change when you finish this video. But the glass you thought was sealing you off from them was Marcus's illusion to begin with, one he kept having to remind himself of, in a private notebook no one else was meant to read, because even an emperor forgets he's part of the web and not standing outside it. One light, one air, one thread, spinning continuously under everything that looks separate from the outside. I'm glad you sat with this one. If it was worth your quiet, stay a while. There is one idea here every day.